And Graham even posted some stuff that I did read, but it was quite a while ago, and I can't remember all the finer details of it. It was information on the Styx Pride. I do have to read it again, and I'm sure somewhere along the line is some indication of their history. And I just have to apologize, everybody, if I'm not up to scratch on their history and their bloodlines as maybe some of the other guys are. Perhaps in time, and for me it makes a big difference how often I see them. And I see these cats so seldom that I just don't keep track of them as much as I would like to. Here's another lioness poking her nose out of the bush. One that was sleeping behind the guarri bush. And I think Jack wanted to know how far we are from the lion. Jack, 10, 12 yards. They're fairly close to us, just off of our front left. Karen, I'm sure Karen in West Virginia just coming through and letting me know about one female that was killed, I think something like Rondolozi a long time ago. I do know, if I do recall, Arethusa guy saying that one female was killed on Arethusa airstrip more recently. And evidently another female that broke away and went and joined the Mapojos. In all the places that I've lived before where I've been able to live with lion, and I've actually studied them myself, and I've kept photographic records of individuals within the prides, I would be able to sit and tell you the family histories of them, and that's because I've been able to live with them much closer basis than I do with wild earth. And that's mostly because wherever I've lived before, even outside of game drive time and outside of my duty hours, I would spend time with the lion or with certain animals. But invariably it was with lion, occasionally leopard, and if I was lucky, cheetah. I used to make a note of spending time with the cats. A lot of the time it was because I didn't need to get out to see elephant. I had elephant in camp, and in front of camp I used to live with elephant around me all the time. And to keep track of lion, I just used to have a lot more time. I just saw, was it a carb? I just saw like a lion, maybe the roof of a car on the main road. Sorry, just saw some movement and got distracted. Unfortunately, here at Wild Earth, even though I might read up on their histories, my brain is like a sieve because I can't match it up. All the information that's coming into my head, I can't match up with stuff when I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing it for such short periods of time that it's going to take me a lot longer to get used to all these cats. than I normally do. I don't have the opportunity to get out of camp and come and see them as often as I would outside of game drive time, as much as I might have done in the past. And also because they just don't spend enough time on our property to follow them and spend time with them as much as I would normally. I have to be honest, I'm being restricted to this 1,000 hectares is the first time I've been restricted to such a relatively small area. And prior to this, my traversing area was 1,000 square kilometers. And when it came to being able to keep track of line, no matter where they went, I was never transgressing boundary rules because they were always within the national park in a particular area that I was one of only few people that was allowed to be there, either in a vehicle or on foot. In fact, I was one of only a very few to be able to be there on foot. And I used to observe the lion from both vehicles and on foot often enough that I got used to the prides, the different prides. And the same was in the Selous, which was 75,000 square kilometers. And that's almost 50,000 square miles, although granted I would never cover that area in a lifetime. And the photographic area that was part of all of that was only maybe a few thousand square kilometers. I was still able to observe many different prides and keep track of them. And for some reason, because we are on such a relatively small area here and the lion only visit very seldom, I don't get to sit with them as much as I'd like to get to know the individuals, as much as we get to know the likes of Karula and her cubs because we see them so often. And so I guess I just have to apologize if I can't answer your family tree histories as well as I would like to. Well, not yet at any rate. Give me a bit of time. Let me try and put it all together. And we're starting to get a bit of movement. Very typical movement of lion after they've been sleeping is getting up and stretching. Excuse me. Head butting and grooming, rubbing. I mean, not sure if any of you have got domestic cats. How important it is for your cats to rub heads against you and to elicit the response of, well, we don't lick our cats, but certainly stroking them. Here are the 3 lionesses. I think they're trying to encourage this other adult female to start moving. We're going down into the riverbed, so it's time that we might need to move too. First order of the day will be toileting. The little boy stretching. Thanks, Patrick, and thank you, Sue, asking about lioness. Lioness that was limping. Sue, I'm not too sure whether you're referring to anyone in particular. Every now and then, lioness is likely